A really tough day for the Melbourne Footy Club. We're joined by one of the absolute greats, David Neitz. Mate, your name and Robbie and a couple others are talked about among the greatest in the game. I mean, from your perspective, what's it like to see Robbie, play and to actually get to know him throughout your career?
Oh, look, it's a shock to hear the news to start off with about him passing. I mean, I know we all know that he's had lots of battles and challenges along the way, but he, just like on the MCG out the wing, he just seemed to pick himself up and get on with it with a smile on his face. So it's a huge shock to think that he's not with us anymore. But look, I guess when you're looking back, it's just been fantastic to get to know the man. I watched a little bit of it when he played, but not a huge amount. So I guess I more know him off the field as the legend as everyone else does as the supporters. But he's so self-effacing. Always wanted to push the limelight onto others. Whenever you start to pump his tyres up a little bit, he'd quickly find a story about you to throw the limelight back on you. And just a very, very humble champion and just a beautiful guy.
You actually surpassed his record as the most games as a Melbourne captain. I mean, what was that moment like, actually breaking the record of Robbie there?
Yeah, look, it was quite surreal, really. Robbie, whenever I made contact with Robbie, he'd make sure that he'd tell me he's got the voodoo dolls out and he's pinning me in the hamstrings. He was talking to the selectors and telling them that I was no good and they should drop me. So it was quite a good fun moment to have that bit of time with Robbie. And I know on the day my parents. They were up in the stands with Robbie watching the game and they came down after that just beaming that they'd spent the day with Robbie Flower in the stands, and he looked after them beautifully and was just, as he is, a great guy. So it was a good moment to actually share that experience with him.
Just in your footy career, I mean, what was sort of his influence, just I guess away from the game? You obviously didn't play together, but just the moments you sort of shared with him.
Yeah, look. Obviously we were slightly different years as far as playing, but there was a period of time there where he'd come down to a bit of skills coaching very, very early on in my career. Might have even been before I was on the senior list, but I guess it's probably a bit of a Barasism, but he would come down with the message of perfect practice makes perfect, and when you've got Robbie Flower down there honing your skills, everyone's on their toes and making sure they're doing exactly that, making the practice perfect, and that's, I guess, the attitude that he had, and part of what made him such a great player. But look, I just think that his presence around the place was great for us as we were going through as players. He'd always say whenever he was around that no, he's just a supporter now, and you guys go on and do your business. But I guess that sort of attitude, that humility, is something that stuck with me personally. As something that you'd want to aspire to be that kind of person. So beyond football, as a human being, I found that was probably the most influence that he had on me.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, thanks very much for chatting to us on a really tough day, and great to hear your words as always.